Hey there, my name is Nick, and I'm going to be talking to you about how network effects and cryptocurrency markets go hand in hand. So we've all heard a ton about cryptocurrency. It's taken over the news with stories of overnight millionaires and 15-year-olds making headlines for making thousands of dollars overnight. And what once was sort of a subculture of computer scientists and people that spent way too much time on the internet is now like a topic of conversation that my uncle will ask me about at a family dinner. And as more people start to own and use cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, a network is built. It's not just a blockchain network that you think of when you think of crypto that literally facilitates transactions, keeps track of nodes on the blockchain and cryptocurrencies in a literal sense. But there's also sort of a network of users, a network of people, where each person that has an address, each wallet on a blockchain becomes a network of people using a cryptocurrency. And these users transfer crypto between each other. They pay for goods, they invest, and each of those sort of interactions can be thought of as a network. And with the formation of this network comes the introduction of concepts that are familiar to us, like network communities, game theory when it comes to traffic on the network, and what this video will focus on, which is specifically network effects. Now, network effects occur when you incur some sort of explicit benefit for aligning your behavior with the behavior of others on a network, usually through some sort of compatibility or interaction. Think about social media, for example. Say there's two social media platforms, Google+, which no one uses, and Instagram. If all of your friends are on Instagram, with none of them on Google, you'll go and probably join Instagram because you want to enjoy the benefits of being on the same network as all of your other friends. This is sort of because a social media site is only as valuable as the number of users it has. This network effect phenomena are also apparent in cryptocurrency markets, in that a cryptocurrency is only as valuable as the number of people it has. And to prove this, we'll look at various laws, such as the ones shown on the screen, but also other factors. According to an academic publication written by William Luther, an associate professor of economics at Florida Atlantic University, the value conferred to a user of a particular currency depends at least in part on the number of other users willing to transact with that currency. This idea makes complete sense. It's similar to our social media example, but only becomes useful when considered in a broader model. Luther continues to explain that while network effects exist, there's also a cost of switching currencies that needs to be taken into account. This can include the cost of people having to set up accounts to trade crypto with, companies having to switch their systems to accommodate a new currency, and just general difficulty with teaching people how to use the new currency. Luther posits that network effects and costs of transition both govern whether or not cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin in his article, will be successful in the future. Many believe that cryptocurrencies pose a much better alternative to the US dollar. In theory, they can be decentralized, they can remove intermediaries and provide standardized currency around the globe, but these advantages have to overcome the network effects apparent in current currency markets, which is that millions of people are already using the US dollar, and that the cost of switching everything to crypto could potentially be extremely high. Luther posited back in 2016 that these problems had and would lead to limited success of Bitcoin. But as the years have gone on, we've seen more acceptance. Thus, it's time to take another look at how network effects are affecting crypto markets. While Luther may have been right that there are a significant amount of barriers to widespread crypto adoption in 2016, he couldn't have anticipated how adoption would change over the coming years. According to an academic article written by Greg Cipolaro and Ross Stephens to executives at NYDIG, which is a financial services firm focused on promoting institutional adoption of cryptocurrency, adoption of Bitcoin is actually at an all-time high, with over 25 million private wallet addresses and increasingly long holding periods. They argue that while Bitcoin isn't widely used as money now, the fact that holders expect to someday use it in a transaction should be considered as a contributing factor to a positive network effect, even if those transactions occur far in the future. It's important to note that they look at Metcalfe's law, something I mentioned earlier, which states that the value of a network is proportional to the square of the number of its nodes. In the context of Bitcoin, this means that the market cap of the coin should be expected to be around the number of addresses sort of squared. This is useful as it provides a real methodology to estimating the value of a coin based off the number of users it has. And when we look at this chart here, we see that that makes a lot of sense. As more people join the network, as more addresses are added, the value of the coin goes up. And this really proves a network effect, and it proves just the statistical significance of such a network effect, as we see sort of this linear relationship in this graph here of more addresses joining and the market cap of the coin going up. Both Luther and Cipolaro and Stephens can agree on one thing, which is that network effects are sure to be important in the rise of cryptocurrency. While both of these articles compare cryptocurrencies to the dollar when it comes to network effects, I posit that these concepts can also be applied to speculating about which specific cryptocurrencies will succeed and which will fail. Take Bitcoin versus Ethereum, for example. Many would argue that Ethereum is a superior coin, processing transactions faster, sometimes moving to a proof-of-stake network, which could be better for things like gas consumption, and it has legitimate applications built upon its blockchain like decentralized finance and non-fungible tokens. Despite this, its market cap is about a third of Bitcoin. This, I would argue, is due in part to network effects enjoyed by Bitcoin. Since there are so many Bitcoin addresses and holders, it's fair to assume that companies will be most likely to accept it and use it. This means that despite advantages in application and efficiency enjoyed by Ethereum, Bitcoin is still able to dominate solely based off the fact that more people use it and it has more robust network effects in its network. For a cryptocurrency to be successful, it needs to add users, and as it adds users, it will need to start to enjoy the benefits of network effects. Additionally, as ease of access increases, these network effects will grow. Coinbase, for example, has made it much easier for the average person to buy and hold certain crypto, meaning coins that are featured on Coinbase enjoy less barriers to adoption than those off-exchange. This is a logical extension of the ideas of Luther, who argued that barriers to use hamper Bitcoin's adoption over the US dollar. Overall, one thing is apparent. Network effects impact almost every question about cryptocurrency adoption. From whether crypto will beat the dollar to the valuation of coins and which coins will beat each other out, network effects provide insight into the forces behind these questions, which make them very important to study. When considering how to use this information in practice, multiple ideas become salient. First, being able to understand network effects allows us to come up with some sort of evaluation for how much a coin should be worth. While Cipolaro used the idea of squaring the number of addresses to find a market cap, one could also use the number of transactions occurring per second or traffic on a blockchain to arrive at a valuation or study sort of how the network effects work on a network. Additionally, future studies could focus on how building applications on top of crypto networks like DeFi or NFTs impacts adoption and network effects. Does having these other uses for a network supercharge network effects by providing people with other reasons to join a crypto network? Overall, these are very exciting questions, ones that will be answered as cryptocurrency adoption continues and network effects play out. So thank you for watching.